This person has been empowering young minds through visionary leadership at Roots Collegium. Ladies and gentlemen, our next guest for this wonderful session, please put your hands together and welcome Shri BP Padala, Chairman Roots Collegium. May I also invite on stage Diksha, who will moderate the session.
Well, yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have here with us Shri BP Padala, Roots Collegium. Thank you so much for joining us here at ABP Desam Smart Ed Conclave. So, sir, as the chairman of Roots Collegium, you've been at the forefront of shaping not just academic frameworks, but the overall character and direction of the institution. We are in this era where artificial intelligence is transforming classrooms, right? Traditionally, we had a student-teacher relationship, we had a student-teacher mentorship, and values like empathy, integrity, responsibility were instilled through this student-teacher relationship. So, but as we lean more towards the digital era, the digital education, I'd like to ask you, is AI changing the moral compass, firstly, in the education system, and how can institutions like yours continue to nurture values in this digital education era?
The session is all littered with heavyweights from the tech industry. I seem to be the only one odd man out. Came from a traditional domain. We are at the intersection of a powerful change where technology meets education and integrity meets disruption. So after any classroom, we teach through chalk and talk, through teacher interaction and co-learning with students, and constantly buzzing with human presence. With the advent of AI, completely it's thrown the entire ecosystem upside down. AI is impersonal. You look at ChatGPT, look at Gemini, you throw a question without a thought, without a remorse, it corroborates, it collects the information and gives the answer whatever it thinks it's correct. When a student attends a college, sits in the class, he looks forward to the mentorship, the compassionate guidance from the teacher. So what is happening now is the traditional values like honesty, integrity, originality seem to be missing with the advent of AI. Previously, a teacher played a role of an information giver. No more teacher is playing that role now. The teacher has been reduced to a facilitator of information. So, how the moral compass is being changed from a student perspective? Instantly he gets an answer. Instantly he gets a solution. Without being intervened by, without being curated by a teacher. So he thinks that speed over depth, speed over quality, speed over originality is the new normal. So definitely the moral compass is being shifted, but it is too early to say it is for better or it is for worse. We have to wait and watch and how the things unfold in the next 5 to 10 years.
But sir, do you think all these human values are in a way sidelined because of AI?
Exactly, we can't say that they're being sidelined because AI is a new technology, a new disruption being thrown into the midst of students and teaching community. So we have to see how it evolves whether it can replace the traditional values or it can cohabit and live with them, and it becomes a new synergy. But my personal gut feeling is that it will never ever replace a traditional teacher. Maybe to the maximum extent, it can play a complementary role, a supplementary role to what the teachers have been doing in the classroom.
Right. Now, sir, in continuation to my last question, I'd like to ask you how educational institutions are preserving human touch in this machine-driven classrooms, and how can we ensure that empathy, which is a deeply human trait, remains centered in AI-enabled learning environment?
Let me start explain with a live example. During the COVID pandemic, all colleges, including our Roots, suspended offline classes, and we resorted to online coaching. So first month it was fun for the students, no coaxing parents, no timelines, no need to wake up in the morning, no need to rush to the college, and they enjoyed. It's a fun time. Second time, kind of a monotony. When they get into third month, it's a tedious process. By the fourth month, they started feeling missing the college campus. So one of the students called me, "Sir, we are learning all right. Teachers are teaching through a Zoom or whatever the tools available, but we have been missing the human touch, the kind of ecosystem, because we are social animals. We cannot forever be cocooned in our houses and keep learning. So learning, the education, a part is what is being delivered in the classroom. The rest of the thing is how you learn from your colleagues, or learn from your teachers, learn from your students is matters. So definitely the empathy part is missing in the technology arena, what you usually get from the classroom.
But sir, do you think, is there a way you as an institution can preserve the human touch?
So definitely there is a lot of role on us, on the educationist or faculty, but this is not something we can alone can do it, because on one side the AI has revolutioned, and every day we are hearing about new technology breakthroughs which are inundating, which are attacking the student community or colleges. Definitely we took steps, or we are going to take steps where we can take AI as a tool to enhance the teaching experience, but not to substitute the traditional role of a teacher, to embed empathy, to embed the integrity factor. The honesty has to be embedded in the way we design curriculum, the way we deliver the curriculum in the classroom. It cannot simply cannot be enforced. So it's easy to say that you should have integrity, but you cannot simply enforce it. It has to be part and parcel of the ecosystem college has to build.
Right. So my next question is actually very important and very interesting. While AI is, empowering learning, right, by personalizing education, identifying student needs and scaling access, it can also inadvertently reinforce social, cultural, or data-driven biases, especially when algorithms are not transparent or inclusive design. Right? So in your view, is AI in education an ultimate tool for empowerment, or does it also risk bias?
Well, if you can look at the AI machine as an entity, it has got its own biases, baggage, like we human beings have. Because it depends on who builds it and depends on who uses it. Let's say we have in Telugu, different dialects are there. In Costa Andhra, we speak different Telugu. In Telangana, we speak different Telugu. In Rayalaseema, we speak different Telugu. Suppose there is a standardized Telugu teaching program being offered through AI. If a person from a remote area, he writes or he answers, he responded in his own dialects, what will the AI, it compares with the original template and says that is wrong. Same way we can talk about English. Suppose Queen's English is that standard template. Suppose a student from Welsh, a student from Scotland, a student from Australia, America, if they try to converse with the template, definitely the AI tells them that you are wrong, grammatically wrong, syntax is wrong. So definitely the bias is inbuilt in the AI. We have to be double careful before we use it, how we responded, and what kind of ecosystem it contains.
Right. So now talking about responsibility, sir, this is an age where students are interacting with AI every day. I think most of them here use ChatGPT almost every day. So they also need guidance on ethics and digital responsibility, right? So what is the role of educational leaders, of teachers to, guide them, to, make sure that they use AI responsibly?
Yes, this is a little bit, we are entering into gray zone. Suppose a student takes help of AI, prepares an assignment, then he make some changes into that and present to the teacher. Can he call it is the original assignment, or can he call it AI generated assignment? So, a student using AI tool generates a design for a particular project. The AI might have used the information embedded and collects, and it gives a new design, maybe akin to the copying from somewhere else on the net. Can you call it a original design? This is where the teacher's role comes into play. So they have to teach students, they have to guide them to what extent they can use AI, to what extent they can use their own critical thinking. Where to stop is the very, very critical in using AI for the student community. In this area, teachers have to be on their toes, and we have to formulate some kind of ethical boundaries where the student cannot trespass.
So do you also believe that institutions should approach student ethics in this age of generative AI? What are the boundaries that need to be set?
Oh, this is very difficult because we are at the very nascent stage of AI evolution. When before robots came into being, Asimov had given us 3 principles how a robot should be operated, should behave. So like that, maybe with the evolution of AI, the allied ethical barriers or allied ethical norms might come into force. Like when a student using AI for the legal services, so regarding let's take a data privacy. So to what extent he can steal the data of others to present his case? Or in the case of design, to what extent he can utilize AI tool to generate a design and claims his own? Or same way in the education, same way in any domain, music is there. There are synthesis of artificial music. But what happens is, when you use a tool of a music, it draws from the originally available repertoire, then it creates a new raga, new swara, new tune. So in these circumstances, these boundaries, definitely the student have to be taught new boundaries for ethical behavior or ethical use of the data available.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing insights on ethical literacy. That is actually very primary and very important in this generation of AI. Now, sir, coming to my last question, according to you, what is your ideal AI-powered classroom in the next 5 to 10 years?
That should be gazing into crystal ball. But whatever the information available to me and whatever my experience as a teacher, I should start with the one cardinal rule. It is not going to be and should not replace a traditional teacher. Because I'm a teacher, my heart lies with teacher, I am biased to. I can visualize a typical classroom where in the classroom a teacher is aided by AI. Let's say a student doesn't keep up pace with particular subject, a trigonometry for example, or algebra for example, or physics concept for example. Maybe AI can use the visual representation in the class itself to make the student understand. And also, as against conveyor belt education, where we churn out lakhs of students in a similar fashion, maybe we will go more and more towards a customized teaching, because the AI might, with its strength at disposal, might assess a psychological profile of student, his aptitude, his attitude, his learning capabilities, might shift, might tune the pace and the information being given to him based on his own capabilities. The second thing is maybe let's say it also works as a psychology counselor. So it might detect any aberration in the student behavior in terms of his classroom behavior, or in terms of his inability to learn a subject in a particular concept. It might highlight that particular trait and might alert the teacher, okay, this fellow is being deficient in particular area, you might work on that. And another thing I can see is AI might work like a co-pilot. If you look at the cockpit, a pilot is the one who flows the flight, but co-pilot plays a critical role, complements the pilot. The same way I will visualize is that AI will work as a co-pilot to the teacher in the classroom. And the last one is, let's say in architecture class, in a design class, a teacher is teaching. Somehow, let's say Taj Mahal is there. So AI can use its resources to play Taj Mahal, its designing architect, its intricacies, and maybe could throw in some historical facts behind the construction of Taj Mahal. So it can fuse, it can synthesize multiple subjects in one classroom, whereas in traditional education domain, it may not be possible, because 2-3 faculty cannot get into a classroom and teach simultaneously various nuances of a particular subject. And also I can see that already we have been seeing in Google or Facebook or GPS, you can also see Telugu in Telangana or other regional languages, the direction being given in Telugu language. So same thing might happen in a classroom, where it can work as a great equalizer between a Telugu medium student or CBSE or ICC, IB, where the real time the content could be translated to English to Telugu, vice versa, could be another change I could visualize at this point of time.
So lastly, to conclude our entire conversation, I'd like to ask you, you've been the chairman of an institution from past so many years, and you've, seen the transition from the traditional methods to this new normal. So are you against or in favor of AI-powered classrooms or of this new digital era?
Per se, I am not against anything. The change is the only constant, I believe in the dictum. We have to adapt. We have to take the best part of it and go on and adding to the whatever we have. There is no fun, there is no point going against a tide. It is like a tsunami. AI is like a tsunami. We cannot stop it. The only thing what we can do is how to ride on it without being swamped into that.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for that beautiful insight. Do we have any questions for Mr. BP Padala? If we have any queries, yes. Can we please quickly pass on the mic there? Please introduce yourself and shoot your question.
Sir, good afternoon. My name is Suresh Kumar. I am from Central Bank of India. Sir, is the evolution of AI in future, I think it's going to give us a crisis of employment for the teachers. Do you agree with that, sir? With the AI classrooms coming up?
So already I mentioned this fact that AI is not going to replace traditional teacher. At best, it can work as a complementary role. So no need of worry about that. If AI is going to replace a teacher, go behind AI and you could be the enabler of AI. You will find a new job.
Those
That
who
is
have
so
done
right.
B.Ed, that would be for them, that is their livelihood, no sir. BSc, B.Ed or the masters in mathematics, physics and all everything. As you are telling that Telugu has got in Telangana, Andhra, Rayalaseema a different group. When the AI is being implemented, that language is being suited in. When if that language is not understood by AI in teaching side, that would be a little difficult for the students also, if I am not wrong.
I think primarily, sir, he's asking more about how it is going to affect a teacher's livelihood. I think because he's mentioned about the employment.
I am reiterating point that it is not going to affect teachers' livelihood, because I mentioned previously that in the COVID what happened, the tech education or education through online reached its zenith. Then what happened after that? We also know a company which offered online education and reached its pinnacle of in terms of volume and popularity. What happened to that company? It got busted. So again we came back to our traditional mode of teaching. So it will take lot of time. Maybe after 50 years, 100 years, I don't know how will it be. You will not be there, I will not be there. Don't worry. Your livelihood is guaranteed till you live.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for joining us today.
May I invite on stage Mr. Sunil Goswami, Editor Digital Videos, ABP Network, to thank Shri BP Padala sir for his presence today.